Oh shit, you got that out of your system?
I think so. Okay.
Good.
Ready?
Fuck yeah.
No. 3, 2, 1.
Hi, folks. Forgot my intro. Hold on.
Yay.
Don't help me, Harry. I got this. Don't. I don't need your help. I can walk on my own. This is Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark. I'm Mark, and this is my co-host, Harry.
Hello.
Did I do good, bud?
Yes.
All right, good. Something we're two idiots who say things not no brain hurt. We are two idiots who pretend to know. No, we're two idiots. We're just two idiots. Perfect. We have
Basically.
topics because we're idiots and we do topic stuff. We talk about stuff and more stuff.
That's the gist of it.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. I like it. I
Like
like it, Hair Bear.
I
It
like this
sounds good.
I like this intro more than the others.
Yeah. It sounds very Rick and Morty, very interdimensional time interdimensional cably. Like, oh, it sounds, everything sounds very like off the cuff improvised.
Mm.
Two black brothers and when a hurricane hit and then they had to fight off cats and then yeah, no, I not
I
my
dig it.
not my strong suit. Ugh. Harry,
Yes.
is there something specifically you would like to talk about? Because I know that I've been introducing a lot of topics,
Mhm.
and I know that whenever you introduce a topic, fucking stocks, fucking what franchise would you fucking snap out of existence? That shit fucking like kicks off. Would you like
Oh,
to contribute anything to your show
to
that
my
you
show.
came up with the idea of?
Ah, back. I mean, honestly, it's something we've already been talking about. But really I haven't been able to not think about it since last week is the new
Mm,
WandaVision episode.
mhm,
That
mhm,
ending,
mhm.
oh man, it because I talked about it I think a few podcasts before where I wanted, like, the thing that was missing for me in this Marvel universe was the X-Men, and
Mhm.
seeing who was in the end of that episode. I mean, so I have my hopes really high. Right?
So I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty excited too.
Yeah.
Um, so I saw one or two theories on it, and I have one or two of my own.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so spoiler alert. In 2014, Age of Ultron happened. Vaguely, and in it, the twins Pietro and Wanda Maximoff are in it, and Pietro dies. Quicksilver dies. And fucking apparently it took her like 9.5 years to like even fucking mention her dead brother again in this franchise in WandaVision episode
5?
3
No?
and 5. Yeah. So enough dilly dallying. There's a little argument between Vision and Wanda. We'll get into the episode in a couple minutes. And at the end of it, the camera like pans to outside the doorway, the bell rings, the shots on Wanda, and everyone's like, "Oh, who is it? Who is it?" And then they pull back. It's this beautiful gray hair, and like, "Oh, it's Quicksilver! It's Aaron Taylor John." And then the camera pulls back, and it's not Aaron Taylor Johnson as Quicksilver, but the other actor from Kick Ass. What's his name? I always forget.
Evan
Evan Peters?
Liv Evan Peters? Yes.
No relation to our friend, right?
No.
Yeah, the guy who gets beat on by his girlfriend. Yeah, poor guy. Um, so it turns out that it's the actor who plays Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men universe.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's got the classic, like, deadbeat '80s uncle look to him, like, "Hey, how's it hanging, sis? Da da da, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Who's the popsicle?" When he looks at Vision, everyone gets a laugh and yada yada. It's a sitcom, whatever. Um, and Kat Dennings, Darcy Lewis, her last name is Lewis, so I'm not actually whistling Dixie crazy. She even mentions they recast Pietro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so there are a lot of openings, I think, in this fifth episode. Uh, we don't know if this actually is Pietro. We don't know if this is
Mm-hmm.
Pietro from the Fox universe. We don't know. One of the theories is that this is Evan Peters playing a resident of Westview who uh, Wanda has conscripted into playing the part of Pietro. She
Mm-hmm.
seems genuinely surprised. One of the things that is revealed in this episode is that she doesn't seem to have full control of this universe. She pointed out, or I think Vision implied or inferred that this kind of came about either subconsciously or it might have just come about completely separate from her, and she's now actively in it.
Yep.
Um, Another theory is that this is actually a character called Mephisto, who is a very
Mm.
prominent villain within the X-Men universe. He's literally the devil. He's associated. We've mentioned that this I think before. He's associated with like Ghost Rider and
Yeah.
fucking demons and shit like that. Um, which would be interesting. Honestly, I'm more inclined to think that Evan Peters came to play uh, a resident of Westview who has been co-opted into being like the brother.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because I feel like it would be more in line with how they're treating the whole the entire MCU, uh, name dropping the 616 universe from Mysterio, and you're like, oh fuck, as a comic book fan, you're like, there's so many fucking universes, and he just name dropped the 616 universe, and then you find out like in universe that's all a fucking joke. Like they had some like asshat science fiction writer just make shit up about him being from an alternate universe where his planet got fucked up.
Mm.
Um, so I like the idea of, as disappointing as it might be for you,
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of it being a nod to another actor playing the other character or the other version of him, but it's still just a member of this universe as a resident of Westview.
Yeah.
Now, punch me in the face, Harry. The
No.
ball's in your court.
Um. So I heard a interesting theory about it, and I have my own theory, and probably my theory is not going to work out. So,
Who says fucking who?
but okay. So my theory is this. This is obviously the best way to introduce the X-Men,
Mhm,
who Disney actually owns now because of Fox.
mhm.
And to me, this is how I view it. Evan Peters is by far the most liked character and actor in the X-Men universe other than Hugh Jackman or
Yeah,
Jackman.
Hugh Jackman
Other
and
than him,
Ped Duel.
Pebble is
Pet Duel. The mouthy merc?
I'm lost. Why am I blanking?
Deadpool.
Oh,
You fucker.
right. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Yes. But you know what I mean. Evan
Mhm.
Peters, everyone loves him from all since he came into, whatever. Everyone's liked him. So it's like it makes sense. And obviously the connection to Quicksilver and Wanda, so forth.
Yeah.
I think it would make sense that this is the perfect time to introduce them, and
Mhm.
of all people to introduce, it would be him. And like you said, the whole Quicksilver, being the same person, blah blah blah. I
Right.
thought it's perfect. This is the perfect time to bring in the X-Men. And my theory, which like I said, I don't think it's correct because I have no real basis. It's just me like wanting the X-Men to be involved. Um, is that Professor X basically thought of the best person to be able to maybe stop Wanda would be him
Mhm.
because he would be fast enough to get through
Uh,
everything before he gets involved or whatever, and
I like that.
maybe like he's pretending to be who he is, and Professor X is like telling him what to do at this moment, kind of thing. You
Mm,
know what I mean? That's
I like
my
that. I think, as much as I like characters like Professor X and Magneto,
oh
I like the idea of introducing not lower characters, but, like, less commercially known characters, and then
mm-hmm,
you save the big guns for, like, I don't know, you're in, like, a Wheelchairs Anonymous, and all of a sudden
yeah,
a wheelchair pops up, and he's bald, and he's like, "Ah, I'm Professor Xavier." No,
yeah,
jokes aside, um you could have a telepath like Emma Frost, who is, like,
mm,
another really powerful mutant with I almost said telepathic abilities.
mm.
Like, just
Okay,
some simple shit,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
it doesn't like, I get, like, for the brand, you could do Professor X, and I would
Right.
love Professor X, but, like, maybe try and give, like, other characters, uh a shot at the spotlight, and then bring out the big guns for, like, name dropping and then showing them off
Mm-hmm.
in their own
Mm-hmm.
movie.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. So that's my theory. My theory is that he is who he is. He is part of this universe, and but obviously there is another Quicksilver, so it's kind of weird to be in the same
I could
universe.
see it. Well, the
S-
thing is that Darcy did say that she recast him.
Right.
Recasted? So, I mean, like, they could literally be pulling from another dimension. Like I said, it could be some poor schmo from Westview, like,
Mm.
but there's no implication yet that any of these options aren't valid.
Right. So then that goes into the theory that I heard about is
Mhm.
basically uh because Pedro Quicksilver in this universe is dead and she can't really bring him to life. Um that what she did is obviously being so powerful, she was able to rip another Quicksilver from a different dimension
Mhm.
into her world. So that's where he comes in. He's not the Quicksilver that obviously she grew up with, but it is
Right.
a Quicksilver in a different dimension that she was able to bring in because that's what she really wanted. Like the whole like she's doing things and or I think Vision was the one who brought it up like are you doing this consciously? She's like,
Mhm.
I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't even know how it started. So it's like the whole aspect of her not knowing what's happening and then maybe her really wanting something and then all of a sudden there it is, like I want my brother. Well, not here's Quicksilver, but obviously he's dead and he's been a very long time since he's dead. So
Mhm.
here's the next best thing, another Quicksilver from a different dimension.
Yeah, I like that. I like that because you can, like, I think it could also give you carte blanche to, like, bring in characters that you want
Mm-hmm.
and, like, kinda just let other people with bad baggage in the other franchises to just not be there.
Yeah. Yeah. I
'Cause,
actually
like,
I didn't even think about that, but that actually makes sense.
I also think that one I can't fucking remember, one post said, like, uh, that this is doing a better Phoenix than Dark Phoenix is, where it's like,
Yeah.
the idea of, like, this good character is essentially becoming not evil, but they've become kind of tainted with power and whatnot, and they're kind of losing who they are. They're
Mm.
doing it in a far better way than
Yeah.
2009. To be fair, let me just let me just let me just state the record. I'll die on this hill. I don't think Dark Phoenix is that bad. I think the
Mm.
ending and the alien subplot make it bad. I think the character dynamic is pretty good. I think the movie has some really solid or not slow motion, but slow boil beats where you get to know your characters and their developments. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand that the movie's dog shit, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's the Drek that everyone really thinks it is. Like, it's not the death knell on the X universe, in my opinion. I
Right.
think that's Apocalypse. I just think that everyone
Mm.
was tired at this point of X-Men. They kept saying Dark Phoenix was gonna come out. It didn't come out. It didn't come out.
Mhm. Mhm.
Expectations were raised, and it didn't deliver. And not only that, but, like, the ending was just bad.
Yeah.
So that being said, there's one more theory, if I could tell you about it real quick.
100%.
So I watched the show or the episode, and I was like, "Oh, cool, whatever." They're doing the investigation bit with Jimmy Woo, Darcy, and Monica Rambeau, and Monica Rambeau just out of fucking nowhere mentions an aerospace technician or engineer.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Oh, well, I mean, I'm sure we'll figure out who that is later." And I paid no fucking mind. Like, I didn't care. I didn't know. I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." So the internet went fucking crazy apparently. They were like,
Hmm.
"Oh, who could it possibly be?" And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I know you might get excited from this
Hmm.
is um a certain character in the X-Men universe begins his career as an aerospace engineer.
Uh-huh.
One of them I'll get to the X-Men character secondly. But one of the main theories is that this is gonna be Reed Richards,
Oh.
Mr. Fantastic,
Huh.
who could fill the super smart billionaire kinda mold that,
Yeah.
Stark had.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The other theory, and there are a couple, but I think one of
Yeah.
the other ones is Hank McCoy,
Oh,
Beast.
wow. Yeah. That'd be
So
fucking dope.
yeah, exactly. I kinda like the idea of introducing your characters like that.
Mhm.
I don't think they should all necessarily be introduced as like, "Ah, hey, we're the X-Men." I kind of like the idea of characters being introduced independently, and circumstance forces these characters together in a way that they can't that that sets them apart from the Avengers to a degree.
Yes.
Like, it's not like, "Ah, hey, we're the X-Men," and they're like, "Hey, why don't you just be an Avenger?" I'm like, "Oh, fuck yeah." Like, they can still do that. But
Right.
I think it would be a really interesting thing to see how they kind of develop and what sets them apart from X-Men. Like, why can't the X-Men just be the Avengers? Oh, because they're fucking X-Men. I want
Yeah.
more fucking information. Why, fucker?
Yeah.
But yeah. So I hope you like that information, that little morsel.
I
We might find
do.
out tomorrow, or we might not. But um, given how they're going through a lot of this, I wouldn't be surprised if they just dropped like two more characters that you'd just be like, "What the fuck" about.
Yeah.
But anyway, uh, long story short, the episode was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Woo is starting to become a far more enjoyable character. He was
Mhm.
kind of a one note in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Darcy, again, she's given a lot more to do in this series.
Yeah.
Monica Rambeau, I like. It seems like they're building a little tension between her and Captain Marvel, which is interesting. Uh, what else? Let's see. Because
Mm.
apparently this takes place almost like just a couple weeks after uh Endgame. So keep in mind,
Mhm.
during that 5-year gap, Captain Marvel had been helping out monitoring all the bullshit that was happening around the world and on the
Yeah.
cosmic level, and Monica was gone.
Yeah.
And then I would imagine Captain Marvel went and did more of the same shit that she's been doing for the last 30 years as Monica came back, which would
Mhm.
be pretty heartbreaking, I think, for Monica. Um, I hope it's not treated very melodramatically. I hope they really go through with that because she was a very inspiring figure for Monica as a child, and I really want to see how that relationship develops in a far more natural way, and not
Right.
just like I'm mad at you and like, oh hey, I'm back, kid, and like, oh yeah, ooh yeah. No, not about that.
Right.
I mean, I'm about that dynamic. I'm interested because that's something that I want to see, but just I hope they do it well. Anyway,
Right.
Uh, I cried a little
Next.
bit. I don't no, 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 no. You shut the fuck up, Harry.
Okay. You cried a little bit?
No, I cried a little bit. I cried a little bit for Vision.
Yeah,
I got
that
a little
was
teary-eyed,
kind of a little
a little fucked up.
yeah, a little fucked up, man.
She literally rolled the credits on him.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
that's
that
fucked up.
when he's trying to get answers, and I understand why Wanda's doing it. It doesn't make her any less uh, selfish of her to do it, but I understand
Mm,
why. But that moment when they're both floating in the air, and he's like, "I don't remember who I am. I'm
yeah.
scared." It's like that. I think that's a very powerful moment. That's a range of emotion we don't often see, not just from Vision and not just from these MCU characters, but from superheroes, period,
Yeah.
which I think is very powerful, and it's a very different, emotional state than what we're used to.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. Um like the whole like especially when she starts talking about like you never talked to me before,
Yeah.
and he's like, what do you before what? And he's obviously knows like he's already suspects something, and then she's
Mhm.
not helping. Like, okay, you're literally fucking hiding things from me. Like, like the one person he's trusting, is like obviously hiding things from him. You know, kind of yeah. It
Oh,
is a
and
point to
the
be sad for
fucking
him.
oh, yeah, and that fucking, that bitch she pulled with her kids about the dog.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
"Oh, look, I can't bring it back, and, oh, this is so painful," even though I'm basically just doing a giant macrocosm of this.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was more nuance to it. I'm fairly certain that my takes are usually my initial takes are really bad, but I'm
Mm.
fairly certain that there was more to that scene, but I interpreted it as, like, her just showing off a severe amount of hypocrisy. To
Same
be
here.
fair, there are a lot of other larger hypocritical? Yeah, hypocritical characters in the MCU, but, like,
Yeah.
I am rendering this down to the show.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Agreed.
now that you wanna just move along,
Hey,
God.
I guess we'll go real quick. I don't. What's her name? Gina. Gina.
Yeah, Gina Carano.
Yeah.
No,
Uh,
Gina Carano.
I don't know how much you want to talk about this. I think it's pretty straightforward.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't know
my,
if anyone knows this yet, but, Gina Carano's been removed from her character of oh, fuck, what's her name? Cara Dune in The
mm,
Mandalorian. So, oh god, this is such a the internet is having a fucking field day with this, and I am just
mm,
not digging it. So let's see, where do we begin? So Gina Carano is a little problematic. At one point, she has posted a range of topics, uh, one of which has been questioning the validity of the election, which is pretty cringe. Um, Testing the validity of masks, which is also pretty cringe. Let's see. Not only not understanding transgender identity, but like not taking the time to like sit down and try to understand it, and in doing so, like mocking it as well.
mm,
Now, she hasn't been removed for any of that. She got removed for posting a tweet comparing everything that she's gone to with being in Nazi Germany.
yeah.
Uh, Listen, I could give, lately there have been a lot of explanations that say, well, Disney's a private company. Let me just point out straight first. I'm fine with it. I don't care. Like, I really don't care. Disney is well within its rights, as I'm mocking myself over saying, as a company, as an actor who is meant to sell their brand, as in she is meant to sell the brand of Mandalorian and is doing a very shitty job on the PR end and is well within the rights of Disney to fire her for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything that she's done has been kind of in bad taste. She wants to be the I'm the free thinker, constitutional right person. But the right tends to do this thing where they'll like vaguely talk about whatever right they think they're being marginalized on. I don't know. Um, it's weird because I do think some of the things that she said before are more harmful. Um, Spreading misinformation about COVID, masks, vaccinations. I think that's far more harmful. Um, I've heard people say that comparison is anti-Semitic, that um, it largely ignores all of the things that led to the Holocaust and led to the police state in Germany and Nazism. But like, you know, good for you that people are shitting on you on a technically a corporate or open forum about your petty ideas. Um, they've worked with her the last 5 questionable tweets.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and honestly, I'm not surprised. Like whether or not it was worse or more harmful, less harmful, I think Disney realized that Gina Carano was too problematic for their brand and they just didn't want her. The right, by that I mean YouTube personalities. One guy in particular, his name is The Quartering on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. He's such a child about it. The online right on YouTube is like a minefield. Like
Wow.
it's awful. Anyway,
Mm.
the online right is it's so fickle. A couple years ago when The Mandalorian was starting and everyone realized that Gina Carano was cast as Cara Dune, and they realized, that she was a non-body conforming muscular woman. They were like, "Oh, what is Disney getting woke?" And then now that she's getting removed, Disney silences heroic, courageous action star and censors like it only the narrative only fits for them
Right.
when it appeals to them or however that fucking saying goes.
Mm.
Um, I'm just ranting about it just because I think it's so fucking stupid. I mean, like, go ahead, go ahead. I'm fucking, I can't.
My view on it is she was probably the worst actor in that show.
I hate to say it, like, but yeah, I
Like,
didn't mind her performance, but I do agree.
yeah, like,
The baby did a better job.
yeah, like it's just they're, it's just yeah, just like like their acting wasn't that great when her character was in the show. I was like, eh, like I didn't really care for her character.
Yeah,
Um, I was like whatever. And like like people making the thing where like oh it's powerful woman being a badass blah blah blah. It's like
yeah.
there's plenty of
Other
other
character.
women in that show alone
Oh
who
yeah,
were badasses.
Fennec
The
Shand, the sidekick partner character to Boba Fett. Like,
mhm,
seriously, that I mean, I think that could be a far more interesting character.
the other Mandalorians
No,
like
no, no.
no I'm
Well, her
saying
too.
yeah
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying the
her
other
too.
Mandalorians too like they're just complete badasses too like what I don't
Yeah,
understand why it's only her and her character. It's like, oh no,
yeah. It's
she's a
just
badass. Everyone else isn't. Like,
it's just interesting that like the Mandalorian got a bit of like right wing flack for having a fairly well sized female cast,
mm-hmm.
and then Gina Carano became an ally the moment she started like doubting stuff like or not doubting COVID, but like doubting the severity of COVID,
Yeah.
doubting like the validity of vaccines, fucking questioning the election. Like, oh god, it's so fucking. I can't begin to tell you how like cringy it is. It's this is a new internet phrase I've picked up. Cringy. But
Cringe.
it's really cringe, like,
Yeah.
hearing this shit. And then, like, she can't just be like, "Hey, listen, I talked with Pedro Pascal," which he did, by the way. He like, "Hey, listen, like, I don't know what the closed door bit was, but, like, he was like,
Mm,
"Hey, like, I know you got some ideas, right? Like, maybe we if, like, you could talk to someone about it, like" not therapy, I just mean, like, maybe if you got to know someone and understood, like, someone who's going through like uh gender dysphoria or body
mm,
dysphoria or whatever the some of the components are to someone wanting to transition, maybe you might understand and whatnot. And like the whole like of all the bullshit, like there's nothing wrong with putting fucking pronouns in your fucking bio. Like I might even fucking do it. I don't fucking care. Like if you want to put fucking that in there without fucking criticism, I think that's perfectly fine. So
mm,
like I don't know how it started, but like she got a little flack for it and ended up like putting beep boop boop bop or something in there, which like off the cuff seemed funny until you realize that she's mocking people who are like non-binary
mm,
or gender fluid, and it's like that's not fucking cool, dude. Like
mm,
you couldn't just be like, hey, let's just leave it at that. You couldn't just be like an asshole, but like a loner asshole. You had to be a vindictive asshole. That's the
yeah.
problem that I think a lot of people had. So again, the Holocaust thing probably wasn't the most harmful thing that she did, but it was probably the straw that broke the camel's back. Everyone's crying censorship. Everyone's crying about cancel culture. Everyone's crying about fucking non-existent bullshit.
Yeah.
Disney is a private or is a corporation, a giant fucking corporation. I know we were just praising fucking WandaVision, but they're a corporation that can get away with a lot of fucking shit, and they do get away with a lot of fucking shit, and everyone
Mm,
bats an eye. But the moment they drop someone because they're not economically viable to their brand, which is well within their fucking right to do,
mm,
everyone flips their fucking shit. Oh god, the socialist blue-haired mob is canceling people, and they're making a billion-dollar corporation with bad hiring and firing and business ethics fire someone. Like, fuck off.
yeah.
Like,
For
fuck off. Seriously?
yeah.
Harry,
I
change the goddamn subject. Or you know what? Continue to your thing and then change the subject before I start.
no, I was gonna say like I agree. Overall, I agree with the firing. So tell me about the stand.
Hold on, hold on, hold on. There's an order of precedence here
Is there?
because I mentioned this joke of a human being called the quartering, and he also had something to say about Mass Effect.
Oh, I was saving that for last, so you can really go off.
That's nothing because it's like it's just the same Gina Carano thing. The Stand is just a normal reviewer. I just fucking run my mouth.
Oh well, then fucking go for it, man. Mass Effect. Tell me about this remaster bullshit.
So fucking dog,
Yes.
hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
So they're remastering Massa Remaster Effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all three games into one, and it's remastered, and they're like refining and optimizing a couple things visually, aesthetically, and whatnot, performatively.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that they're doing is in one scene that we know of, one of the characters, Miranda Lawson, I don't know if you've played the Mass Effect franchise,
Negative.
doesn't matter. She confides in the shepherd character that you are like meat puppeting
Hmm.
that she is genetically modified to be perfect and that her father was immensely abusive. And it's a really emotional scene. And it would be a lot more emotional if the camera didn't focus on her fucking asshole while you were talking to her. So let me try to be as unbiased at the moment as I can.
Mhm, mhm.
Mass Effect 2 features a character who is essentially like the Tifa character from before, like this
Okay.
very sexualized character,
Mhm.
visually sexualized. They're not like fucking ahi gowing all over the place, but like
Yeah, yeah.
they wear this skin tight suit and are pretty much shown in every scene to be like in a very risque way. Anyway, um, she is a romanceable character, and
Mhm.
during one scene when she confides to you about her very tragic backstory, the camera pans down to her ass, like I fucking shit you not, while
Huh.
you're like talking to her, and there's no romance option at this exact moment, so there's like no real point. Um, I remember that too, by the way. When I was like younger, I was like, "Wow, that pulled me out of the mood." Like I was not averse to the booty,
Right.
but I was like, my whatever-year-old brain was like, it's really hard for me to focus on this tragic character's tragic backstory about how her father, like, genetically, like, abused her when, like, she's got 2 balloons suffocating her sphincter, like, right next to Shepard's head. And, like, I don't here's the thing, I don't care. Again, like, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. It's like the Tifa thing with the breasts. It's like fucking every issue that these I know I'm speaking so vaguely. It's like every issue that these fucking incels want to bother about. But like
Mhm.
the Mass Effect remastered version is going to remove that one bit. They're still gonna have like the explicit sex scenes. They're still gonna have fucking they're still gonna have Jack. If you don't know who Jack is, anyone look up Mass Effect 2 Jack. This is a person whose clothing consists of body tattoos and a belt wrapped around her chest, and the internet is going crazy that one scene about this person's fucking ass is getting cut. Uh, which just is I don't know. How do you find the time to argue about something like this? Which I just don't get. I really just don't get it. Harry,
Mm.
fucking punch me in the face. Like I have to be in an alternate universe where fucking Aaron Taylor Johnson was in the X-Men universe and Evan Peters was in the MCU
Mhm.
and they brought Aaron Taylor Johnson into the MCU.
Mm.
But this is also happening. So I need you to hit me in the face as hard as you can so I wake up in the Evan Peters MCU universe, okay? I really need you to do that for me. Because the quartering, this potato of a man keeps talking about censorship like the state was like, "You, BioWare, we need you to take this butthole scene out." Not even a butthole, it's just a fucking clothed, like, butt. That's it.
Mhm.
We need you to take it out right now. And BioWare is just like, "Oh, we can't do that, artistic freedom." And, like, there's a G-Man with a gun pressed to Casey well, not Casey Hudson's head, he's gone. Some fucking your character here's head right here, and they're like, "If you don't do it, we're gonna have to blow your fucking brains out." That's fucking censorship, basically. Censorship
Mhm.
is more or less when a person is coerced to change their art.
Yeah.
That's it, or a media, and that's it. If like if a director was like, "Oh, fucking," I heard a really great example. Fucking, does that make the director's cut of Blade Runner censorship?
Huh.
No,
So
that's a fucking joke. Of course it's not. Anyone who would agree with that is a fucking idiot. But like the idea of them just deciding like, "Hey, like, there's no point to this. Let's just fucking get rid of it." Like, it's not like there's a committee of like these imagined SJW blue red-haired people like, we're gonna comb over this entire franchise and decide which part we like, and
Mhm.
just pick that one scene like that has to go. We're gonna fire 5 people. Like, that's not the fucking shit that's happening. Like,
Yeah.
there was just a decision like, hey, this scene doesn't really work for us. Let's just get rid of it. There's still fucking sex. There's still the Titanic like foggy glass window hand scene. There's still all that you can still fucking Asari and die right after. Like, there's no fucking point. Like, the amount of things that people can complain about and morph that into some like victim complex thing. Like, oh, we're censored. Oh, they're censoring it. Oh, there's the war on like pasty virgin men. Like, I don't get it. I really
Mm,
don't. Like, again, it was the same thing with the titty issue with, you know what? I sound pretty crass. It was the breast size issue with Tifa, where it was like,
yeah.
wow, Tifa has an average size bodice now, so as not to overly sexualize, not that Tifa still isn't a fucking sexualized character,
Yeah.
but just, let's just not blow her back out every time she does a fucking backspin or whatever.
Yeah.
And the internet was collectively like, "Oh, it's the war on men." I don't know.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
it pissed me off way too much for me to like want to break down. It's I don't know what it is about the right when they scream censorship that just kind of like makes me stutteringly angry and off put when it's really not the case.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about a show, Harry. What do you think? Is that okay? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So
You're gonna.
I'm gonna name drop a show that I've barely mentioned, but that I've been watching behind the scenes.
Ooh.
It's called The Stenad. No, I'm sorry, it's The Stand. I
This
say
stand.
that because the opening title screen starts with like three pillars that spread into the word stand.
Hmm.
And when it spreads as if it's about to say Stenad, which I
That's good.
constantly say in front of my dad all the time, and it knocks him off kilter every beginning of every episode. Um, so The Stand is a 9-episode miniseries based off of one of Stephen King's best works, The Stand. It's this classic post-apocalyptic good versus evil story. Um, Long story short, about 99% of the population has been wiped out by this pandemic. God, it's
Mhm.
too topical. 99% of the population has been wiped out by this pandemic, this like respiratory virus called Captain Trips. Jesus Christ, it really is topical. It's a fucking respiratory disease. Anyway, um the fucking however many percentage of people who are immune are called to Boulder, Colorado in this singular vision by this old black woman called Mother Abigail. Some of the survivors form the Boulder Free Zone, where they're all nice and whatnot, and oh yeah,
Mhm.
let's all enjoy each other. And this evil character called Rick Flag
Rick.
forms Rick. Rick shot a guy. Rick killed a guy. Where Rick Flag forms like this uh evil colony in Las Vegas, which he names New Vegas. Under him. So the Colorado fuckers are like this free association. They have like a committee and it's all fairly democratic. And fucking Rick Flag is like, this is an autocracy. And he's like this supernatural being who it appears gains power from like fear and devotion. Um Long story short, uh 5 of these characters who go to the Boulder Free Zone uh try to do battle essentially with Rick Flag and his
Mm.
group. There's one or two members of Rick Flag's group who are in Boulder who try killing everyone they flee. Some of them die. Essentially, at the end of all of this, um, a bomb goes off in New Vegas. Everyone there dies. Rick Flag somehow survives, but is transported or wakes up on some island, right? Um,
And that's where Lost comes. That's
yeah,
where that's
right.
when Lost starts.
The dog licks his face and then he runs out and the plane crashes. So if this all sounds pretty crazy, it's because it is. Um, I'd like to point out first of all, uh, I have never read Stephen King.
Mm,
I have enjoyed most of the media that is based off of his work. I'm not gonna dare say that just because I've seen most of his media, I have an idea of how his writing style is and whether they do it justice or not. But I can
mm,
tell you there are a couple things that I see a lot of in his media adaptions that seem like they're kind of cornerstones of his.
mm,
Um Oh god, where do I fucking begin with this? It's not good. It's really not good. I
okay.
apologize if my summation of the story is not doing it justice. But it's this tale of good versus evil. Rick
Mm,
Flag is technically this multi-dimensional evil being from Stephen King's other works, um, The Dark Tower and all this other stuff. He's like this demonic figure. He's not really the devil, but he's this demonic figure who tempts people and all this shit. Mother Abigail is more ambiguously a disciple of God, like almost literally God.
mm,
Um, which is kind of a turn off for me, but whatever. I'm not. It's not like not going to watch something if it has vague allusions to Christian gods. Besides the point, um, it's 9 episodes. There are a heap of characters, and I don't get the chance to get to know any single one of them.
mm,
Uh, there is one character who we focus the most amount of time on, who is kind of like this little pervy, mentally unstable kid who likens himself to Tom Cruise. Like he literally has a picture of Tom Cruise, that like painful smile and point that he has, and he mimics that to like hide his psychotic nature. And it's like
mm,
I feel like he's more of a side character, but the show is literally jamming full episodes of him down my throat. And then spoiler alert, he dies in the fucking 8th episode or the 7th episode, and like there's a fucking power vacuum now because the guys or and gals who should have been the main characters technically, or who should have gotten more time with, fucking die the next episode. And and every single moment that we spend with them is supposed to be meaningful, and I don't get enough time with any of them.
mhm,
They die because they're supposed to fill up this plot requirement that they die. The show is more concerned with them getting from point A to point B, and like it, it tries to be immensely powerful, but it's like I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to do any of that. What's so amazing about this show, and I was telling my dad this, I told him this twice so he would listen to me. He didn't. Um, is they managed to do 8 episodes. They do 8 episodes of this like 1,000-page book that Stephen King like put a lot of effort into doing. Like he
mm,
wrote this book in the 70s and then added 400 pages to it in the 90s when he became more established, because his fucking publisher told him not to in the 70s. And then when he had the money, he was like, fuck you, I'm just reprinting it. Besides the point, like they spend no time understanding the conflict, understanding the values, understanding any of the stakes. Like
mhm,
Rick Flag obviously preys uh off of devotion and fear. But like the people in Boulder are no threat to him. And the people in New Vegas are technically no threat to the people in Boulder. Rick Flag just like sends one crucified dude to them and like says your time is up, and then nothing else happens really of importance. Absolutely nothing else. And it's like, well, what are the fucking stakes? Like what happens if like Rick Flag wins? Like,
right.
okay, cool. Like, what is his ultimate goal? Because the only time we ever really spend with him is when he's up in this penthouse in New Vegas, just like watching from above as like people just enjoy sex, I guess, because that's what evil is in this show. Like, So I've talked a little bit about Flag. I enjoy the actor. I like Alexander Skarsgård.
Mm,
Um, he's handsome. I fucking hate the hairdo they put on him, but uh, you know, I'm still on that gravy train. Um, but I don't think they really give him enough to work with. He plays a good like seducer or demonic seducer like the devil would.
mm,
Um, and when it comes to the city of New Vegas is literally just people fucking.
mm.
Like it equates like the hedonism of sex to like evil. Oh, but they're really evil because they have like a gladiator pit. Like all of New Vegas, besides the NCR. No, kidding. Um, all of New Vegas has a set of laws, has electricity, has like somewhat of an infrastructure, and it's only until the second to last episode that we're seeing like super, super, super evil things happen.
Oh,
When we see New Vegas for the first time in episode like 3, there's a gladiator pit where people are getting killed. Like, okay, wow, that's super evil. Yeah. And he's on like a television screen saying, "Yeah, you couldn't enjoy violence and sex, but here you can." And I'm like, "Dude, are you kidding? This is like this is young adult shit. This is like YA like post-apocalyptic crap." Like I feel like again, I don't want to misrepresent who I am. I haven't read Stephen King, but I can damn well guarantee you that the struggle for good and evil was a hell of a lot more engaging than he literally has a place in Las Vegas where the survivors of a fucking pandemic are just like fucking and killing one another. And that's all it is. It's just people in like bondage gear. It's like fucking 3 or 4 people dying in these episodes. Anyway, whatever. Fucking
mm,
what's the point? So then we go to the other characters. So we have Stu Redman. Oh fuck, he's the only guy whose name I remember. Anyway, doesn't fucking matter. We have the main guy technically, who's like your average Midwesterner. Like, oh, I'm probably Republican, but I'm probably liked by all the Democrats or whatever. He's got
yeah.
that vibe, right?
Okay.
You've got a New York guitarist, ex junkie, who's like trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life, and he kind of becomes kind of the shining star. You've got Franny, the romantic attraction of both the Midwestern redneck and the psycho kid,
Oh.
and she's only like, oh god, I wish I could stress how disappointing it is that all these characters are kind of just like just chess pieces. Like this character Franny the girl
Mm,
has no importance in this story of other than being pregnant, which is so disappointing. I genuinely hope that someone can come up to me kindly. I really hope that you can talk to me about this because like I don't see any other utility to the character other than like she's pregnant and then she can't go with the other main characters to New Vegas because she's pregnant. And that's fucking it. And
mm,
then uh a professor guy who has like 4 or 5 scenes where he talks about like the greater nobility of man and philosophy. They all fucking die except for the Midwestern guy. And in the fucking most batshit structuring, they spend 8 episodes getting to this like anticlimactic good versus evil battle, right? They
mm.
spend all this time. All of it's rushed, by the way. All of it.
Seems like
All
it.
this time. And it technically ends. The bomb that Flag had some fucking random trash man dude go
Mm,
to the Heart and Nevada get like a warhead. They bring it to New Vegas. It blows up because of the hand of God or whatever. I don't know. It kills the the guitarist, his friend in this big massive explosion. Flag is killed. All of his underlings are killed. And then like that should technically be the end of it. Like the evil was defeated. And
yeah.
then they managed to make the most unnecessary epilogue. where like Flag is still alive and
Mm.
he's in the Amazon or somewhere in like Asia, like somehow, and he's like feeding off of the devotion of like these ancient tribes people who survived the pandemic,
Mhm.
and the Midwestern guy survived, and he's with Franny the girl, and they're kind of just like they're literally just chilling. They're like, "Oh, hey, let's, I know we're fine here in Boulder, Colorado, but for no fucking reason, I gotta go to the Atlantic Ocean. Let's go to the Atlantic Ocean, and then let's go have 5 kids." And that's it.
Mm.
Um, so in the reprinted version of the book, Flag wakes up on an island and is surrounded by village people or like
Mm.
indigenous people on an island, and that's fine. Because it implies that like at the center of this, the whole point of the stand is you stand against evil. The stand, you make your stand here. The constant battle between good and evil, the same thing that happens in the Dark Tower. The
Yeah.
main character is constantly locked in this struggle against the Dark Man, who is Randall Flagg.
Mhm.
To the point, I'm sorry. Um, what I think would have been a lot better and a little less tone deaf for now is if they just fucking incorporated like the fucking the Children of the Corn. 'Cause
Uh.
there's a bit when they're driving through from Colorado to the Atlantic, and they drive through Nebraska, right? And they manage to get to this house that's surrounded by a cornfield, right? And they have this dog with them. This is the last episode, right?
Yeah.
And, the dog is, like, all peeved by the cornfield, right? And there's the one good shot in this entire fucking show. The camera follows the dog, this beautiful, like, Auburn lab or
Mhm.
golden retriever, or lab probably. You know, it's wagging its tail, and all of a sudden, like the camera pans to the behind the dog as it sees this cornfield just envelop the entire screen, and its tail's wagging, 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 and then it stops standing in place, and then its tail stops wagging. And I'm like, that shit is cool. I think they're doing Children of the Corn. They didn't do fucking Children of the Corn, but I would have liked the idea of Randall Flagg just waking up in this cornfield manipulating children.
Yeah.
Because there's a theory, for anyone who doesn't know, a lot of Stephen King's work has kind of like a connective tissue. He has kind of like a multiverse thing going on. Um, Stuff like in The Shining, there are characters who have like telepathic and telekinetic powers. Um, i.e., stuff like The Shining, Doctor Sleep, um, characters with intuition in other stories as well. Castle Rock, Shawshank Redemption. There's an area in Maine, like Castle Rock, Shawshank, Derry. All these areas are places that he tends to work with a lot. But for some of his more fantastical things, like It and the Dark Tower, is like this multi-dimensional, like fantasy science fiction story. Um, and in one of those stories is Children of the Corn. I'm getting to a point. I'm really sorry, Harry.
No, you're good.
In the story of Children of the Corn, these kids pray to a god or someone that they believe is a god. Um, and it has robbed them of their parents. It's robbed them of devotion of any other faith. And they kill any outsider. And God, I can't remember his name. Like the one who resides within the stocks or something. It doesn't fucking matter. But like that premise could have literally been cut and paste onto that story
Mhm.
without using like the indigenous people, because like the indigenous thing I think is a little tone deaf because it implies that a quote unquote uncivilized civilization is more prone to worship,
Mhm.
but I don't necessarily know if that's the case. But like I don't know, I just God, it just pissed me off so much how they like reduced the morality, they reduced the idea of good versus evil. and they rushed everything. It was more important that they got to these important plot beats, and they bared no mind as to like, well, how do you think people are gonna feel when we get to them?
Right.
Oh, the fucking so the one more thing and I'm done. I'm fucking done. Okay,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
good, good.
Yep.
So the show, with the exception of the Psycho Kid, the show tries to balance like two or three of these characters: the rock star, the Midwestern dude, and Franny, right?
Mhm.
Um, and they I think about the eighth episode, no, the seventh episode. They send uh, with the exception of Franny, they send the professor, Stu, the rock star, and then another member of the party. She's like the guardian of the old black woman, the who did the vision bullshit.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so all four of them just literally walk from Boulder, Colorado to Las Vegas. Stu breaks his leg, the Midwestern dude, and he's out of commission the entire fucking time. He makes it back in the ninth episode when fucking nothing is going on. So it's the professor, the rock star, and the other character who like we don't get nearly enough time to get to know. Like it doesn't fucking matter because we don't get to know any of these characters because that doesn't fucking matter because they have to go to Las Vegas. So
Mhm.
the professor dies trying to prove that like they that the residents of Las Vegas need to be afraid for Rick Flag to have power, but like it's bullshit. 'Cause it's like, it doesn't do anything, and then they're gonna try executing the other 2 in front of everyone to maintain the fear, and the rock star just keeps saying, "I'll fear no evil, I'll fear no evil," yada, yada, yada,
Yeah.
in front of all these people, and then he begins to lose his power. Like,
Oh.
he's literally, like, losing his power, and I'm like, "Wow, that really wasn't all that hard," and then Trash Can Man, I believe his name is, the guy who was hired by Flag to get the nuclear device literally brings it to his doorstep, and he's like, "What are you fucking doing? Take it over to the fucking plane so I can take it over to Boulder, Colorado, whatever." And while this is all going on, fucking clouds start to come over, and it morphs into a giant hand and just starts fucking zapping people to death inside the hotel.
Hmm.
And it's like zapping Rick Flag like a bunch of times, and like he just disintegrates, assuming he transports to fucking the Amazon. But
Right.
so we're left with our fucking Rockstar guy and that character as they're essentially chained to the base of a pool as it's being filled with water. That's how they're executing him. And you're thinking, "Oh, like, oh, this is the hand of God, it's gonna save him, right? Yada, yada, yada." They're fucking getting ready to drown, like, they're underwater, and this big fucking light goes off, and everyone in the show can see it. Fucking Stu, with his broken, stupid fucking leg, can see it. The people in Boulder, Colorado can fucking see it.
Mm.
I'm sure the people who were disintegrated the moment the thing fucking went off probably saw it.
Yeah.
Um, and the rock star and the other character just fucking die. There's no like, "Oh, they came back." Like, I was sitting next to my dad, like, half the time, like, "So they're gonna come back this episode, right? Like, the 3 of them, right? Right? Right?" No, they're just fucking dead. Stu's the one dude who comes back, he's fucking limping half the time. Yeah, so, no, I'm I had a very, very heated time tonight talking, and I just need to breathe and know that all of these things just pass through me like water.
What's the same Roos Fruce? Oh fuck, can't say.
Who's from
There you go. There you go.
I just I don't like internet fucking conservatives.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
don't like that a lot, and then I just don't like the 10 episode format for a lot of series. I
Mhm.
genuinely think that this show would have done a lot better if it had strayed from some of the source material by expanding on characters and their motivations and exploring morality and good versus evil. This
Yeah.
show could have easily been 1 season, but 20 episodes, or at the very least 15.
Yeah.
I would have been perfectly fine with it. I know I was really rambly from the top. Uh,
Hey man, I was just enjoying the ride.
yeah, bumpy ride. From the top, um, too quick, poor character motivation, poor stakes defined, um, and one final pet peeve, the show is really violent and really gory, and I have a weird thing with gore where I feel like it either should be cheap gore, which it's not,
Mm.
or the writing should be so goddamn good that the gore is deserving of it, and it's not.
Mm.
Like, I've seen movies like, what is it? The Road, by Cormac McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen it?
Negative.
If anyone has ever seen or if anyone likes, like, really dystopian science fiction or really dystopian, like, stories, watch The Road. The Road is about a father and son who are exploring the world after some post-apocalyptic event. It's really bleak, it's really gory, and all that shit. Um, but I think there is a quality to gore that can be amplified by good writing, if you catch my drift,
Yes.
or catch what I mean. Like, I feel like gore can elevate an already elevated movie depending on how it's done. And here it was done in a way that felt like the writing could have been deserving of it, but it wasn't.
Okay.
There we go. I'm done. I'm finished. I I've you should call this hitting the stutter with stutter and stutter.
I think it was
But
good,
yeah,
man. I think I'm down to call it there, man. I think we talked about what we need to talk about. I vented about WandaVision and my hopefulness for X-Men, and
I
you
am just so mad that pretty much in an hour and 20 minutes the new episode's going to come out and we're not going to be able to talk about it for another however many hours it takes a week to go by.
does it actually come out at midnight?
It comes out at about midnight. Not exactly, but like around that time.
Not gonna lie, I might stay up just to watch it.
Do you want to stay up? Yeah? No, you guys aren't staying up with us. Shut the fuck up. But like you dare you wouldn't stay up and we'll text each other.
I mean, I'm down
All right. I'll fucking hold you to
for sure.
Anyway, yeah. So let's do our outro, bud.
Sounds good.
All right. Folks, we got an email. If you want to tell us how bad we suck, if you want to tell us what kind of colored socks you got going on, tell us if you want to tell me that I stutter too much or I spit when I talk, you can email us at hittingthemark2020@gmail.com. Again, we're always open for any discussion, anything you want to chit chat or chat shit about, okay? And if you have a Twitter account, let me pull it up because I don't have it on me because I'm an idiot.
Mm.
If you wanted to message us there, you can hit us up at capital H, capital T, capital M underscore podcast. HTM underscore podcast. Hitting the mark with Harry and Mark. We also have a YouTube. Oh yeah, we have a YouTube, eh? And that YouTube is, because I don't have it on at the moment, is called Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark. Oh my god, so many different names and titles. Jeez. Yeah. If you'd like to watch any of our videos, you're more than welcome to. If you'd like to hit us up on your YouTube or on our YouTube or Twitter, you're more than welcome. Oh, by the way, a little bit of plug-in. Harry also has a YouTube. If you can't tell, it's called Guy Named Harry.
Yeah.
Has lots of good videos where he likes to stream. He's a cozy little bear where a couple of our friends and us like to play video games and rib one another. Although I'm sensitive, so I don't like getting ribbed too much. But that's our whole dynamic. So we're too late. We're too late into that dynamic. Anywho, It was wonderful chatting with you, Harry. And it's wonderful making you listen to us like it was Clockwork Orange, audience. We'll be back next week. We'll have a whole bunch of stuff to stretch an hour and whatnot and to talking about.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All
Goodbye.
right. Auf Wiedersehen, Asshores.